Now the question is, all of what's being done, whether it's the sanctions, whether it's the humanitarian aid, whether it's the indirect military aid in terms of equipment, if things continue to go poorly in terms of the assault, how will Vladimir Putin respond to that? It is possible that it could make him more predisposed to some sort of diplomatic withdrawal, being able to claim a win as a result of getting either a neutral status or something like that. Or it could lead to a significant uptick in the brutality of their assault. It could result in yet more threats against other nations. You had over the weekend Russia putting their nuclear arsenal on a heightened level of alert and all that. It is going to be really interesting in one sense to see how Vladimir Putin responds to all of this. And the question that I have for you, Sabrina, and this will be the last thing that we touch on this topic. Tonight we have the State of the Union with President Biden, and he's already said that Russia is going to be a significant part of it, the situation in Ukraine. Is there anything you can think of that you would like to hear Biden say that you think might help in this situation, a stance he could take? Because obviously he doesn't have any direct ability to change the situation there, but we are still a world power. We're going to be important in whatever happens diplomatically.
I mean, I would love to see more humanitarian aid, but I have no idea what's going to happen next. I mean, there's so little that the US especially can do, because people don't want to see, a face-off with the US with Russia. That will absolutely be catastrophic. And so there are a lot of people, kind of scarily enough, like, who seem to want the US to go to war, to have boots on the ground in Ukraine, to take on the Russians. And that would just be mutually assured destruction. That it can't happen, and it shouldn't happen for anybody involved. So maybe more humanitarian aid. I don't know. Maybe if Biden and other countries as well could maybe stop accepting energy such as like oil from Russia. I feel like that might hurt more if they're trying to go tougher on the sanctions. Then I think they're going to have to consider the stoppage of using, Russian resources when it comes to energy. I know that's why like a lot of European countries have kind of like held off on like they're obviously they're taking sanctions in regards to like banking and SWIFT and whatnot, but maybe people need to, take a little bit more of a sacrifice and not accept some of this Russian energy if maybe that could be the next step.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I know the right would absolutely lose it. We're going to talk about energy as a part of this issue in just a little bit. I don't expect and wouldn't be remotely interested in any, like he's not going to say that we're going in or anything like that. He's been very consistent about that. For all the other criticisms that I and others have of him, he's been good in that area. But making it very clear that the sanctions are not going to be some ephemeral temporary thing, I think could be good. Making sure that to whatever extent possible, the sanctions are and this is always impossible. Sanctions never just touch the top. Sometimes they don't touch the top at all. That they hit those people as much as possible and minimize the damage to the Russian people. That would be great. But I don't know. We're going to see. It's one of the most important topics. We're going to have to wait and see how he addresses it and what the right wing response will be. This is the sort of time that historically we would sort of come together to support this country, to stand against getting involved in a war, but also stand against the invasion. I don't know that we have the political system for that right now, the state of the Republican Party.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.